Hello ladies and gentlemen, and let's get this on the way. We have here a Protoss versus Zerg match, and we're gonna have Floorboard versus Mike D. Now, if you want high level play, and I recommend you go to HD and Husky's channels because they are the best when it comes to casting high level games to keep up with the action. And they actually have had so much practice that they're really good at it. I can barely keep track with these lower level games. Now this is a Diamond League game. It's not supposed to be the best game ever, but it's supposed to be one of the better class of players. Diamond is the last league you can get into without actually being invited, without being a professional player. So we're going to have Mike D, who's going to send out his scouting probe. And on the other side of the map, Floorboard is just basically biding his time, going with one overlord and one drone to scout. As you notice, the drone looked out and came around here, checking out for any kind of proxy. When he'll get to the Protoss base, you'll see that that's not the case. On the other hand, Mike D is going to come in here and going to see that there is no early pool. That means that this Zerg is going for a fast expansion. We shall see how he responds to this. Will he try for some early aggression? As you can see, this drone is trying to take down the pylon. Sometimes I wish pylons would just hit back, because this is more annoying than anything else. It'll never bring down the pylon, but you just have to use a probe to scare it out. And as you can see, this probe is just following around the drone. And the drone is just moving around, nothing really special. On the other side of the map we have the same thing, only the drone is chasing the probe. And there is that early expansion, as I've said, and there's also a spawning pool. We have a nice block off here. As you can see, these two buildings are put here to block the ramp. You can use your units to walk out, but you can use just one or two zealots to block this part right here, and any incoming attack will just run into those zealots. So any Zerglings will just, well, hit this wall. This drone is still chilling out here, which is kind of bad because he can see what the Protoss is up to while the Protoss doesn't have any scouting inside the Zerg base. But so far, I don't think we're going to see any attack from the Zerg. He's just securing his expansion. Maybe he's going to get a lot of drones up and start building his economy. Now, one thing I have to stress is that if this is a diamond level play, the queen is really late coming out, and the first thing he needs to do is secure his creep highway. Let's see, does he have a second? Yeah, there are two queens coming out, which is good. One queen at the main, one queen at the expansion, and he should really lay down some creep tumors, connect this highway so units have a better movement across the map. On the other side, this drone is still chilling out here, nothing. We're going to have the sentry take it out. We have two more gateways coming down, which might mean some early aggression, we shall see. But so far, nothing really special from either of these players. Just standing, building up some economy. We'll see if we get some massive, interesting plays. The gateways are coming up. As you can see, the warp gate, the research is on the way. Ooh, this is bad. This is bad. Just as I said earlier that the Zerg was making some mistakes not getting out those queens earlier, the Protoss is really stacking up on this chrono boost. Now, maybe he's just saving them for, I don't know, pumping out a lot of units and just making a massive push, but I'm not seeing that. Let's see the harvester count. Now, the income is pretty even. The Protoss is ahead by a few harvesters, but that's not going to make a difference if the Zerg economy really kicks in, especially with this second base. Now, we do have a proxy pylon, and we're going to see if he manages to warp in some units. He warps in some more here. I'm going to back up his main army here. And so far, the Zerg is just scouting the map with Zerglings. And we have a probe running in. Why did that probe run in? I suppose it probably wanted to scout for some spy colors or something, but It did not find anything. Now this army cannot take on all these Zerglings and these queens. In no way in hell. So he's going to need to warp in a lot of more units, make good use of the Guardian Shield and the Force Field. Do not allow to get us around and do not get hit. Now, he doesn't, now see here, he's not getting surrounded, but the Force Fields are not doing anything. This is a bad position for the Protoss, because he is surrounded, and the Guardian Shield is not even being used. I know he doesn't have enough energy, but maybe he should have, in this situation where the Force Fields didn't help at all, maybe he should have just went with Guardian Shield. A lot of his army would have survived. Now these queens are going to go down because they don't have enough energy for transfusions, but more Zerglings are on the way. I suppose 20 more Zerglings on the way. God, I hate Zerg when it comes to this kind of production. They just can pump out. Nice shield. This, I gotta admit, this is a nice shield blocking off all these Zerglings, but now they're gonna come in and tear up the remainder of this army. Now, I gotta say that I don't know who is ahead right now. The Protoss did manage to screw up a lot of the Zerg economy, but Zerg, when it comes to reproducing their army, they can do it so fast. I mean, let's look at the army size. We have 21 Zerglings, 1 Roach, and 1 Queen, and 3 Queens died already. This is a pretty decent army for defense, while the Protoss has just, what, 3 Zealots? Now, since the Zerg, is he gonna move in? I don't think he's gonna move in yet. I'm gonna talk about, again, something I pointed out in my last cast, hotkeys, and when it comes to control equipping. Again, the Zerg is actually moving in? This is bad play from the Protoss. Keep your Zealots here. Do not let them get us around or they will die. Strange. This is just strange play. I do not consider this diamond level play. Anyway, as I said, attribute all your warp gates to a control, just as you would in a Nexus. See, the Nexus is on 5. Put all your warp gates on 6. Why? Because this warp gate can't produce anything. Neither can this one. But this one has a unit ready. So he produced 3 units when he could have produced 4. This is just something that you need to take in consideration. What's this pylon doing here? I honestly have no idea what this pylon is meant to be. Scouting? Maybe blocking this off? I don't know. The army composition is looking fairly strong for this player. Let's see the production tab. We have Glial Reconstruction. Interesting that the Protoss is managing to hold this defense, because now with the sentry up and a few stalkers, he can hold this ramp pretty easily. Securing this expansion is a good idea because he is falling behind in economy. As you can see, the second Zerg base is on the way and producing a lot of minerals. He's still behind on gas, but I suppose that's simply because he does not have gas on the second base, while the Protoss has both gas here. And I guess this gas isn't saturated. Yep, I was right. Finally he gets the saturation on the gas, I think. But no, 1, 2, yeah, this one is missing on a probe, on a drone. I'm sorry if my voice seems kind of strange and I seem kind of tired, because I kind of am. I've already filmed an interesting video for today. It's called Trollfest. And it's not even mine. If you're on my channel, you can go see that too. I personally think it's epic. Getting back to the game, now, I'm interested because the Protoss player is finally using Chrono Boost to get out some more probes, which is kind of oversaturating this, but it'll be good for the transfer. I would suggest at this point, maybe getting up a forge and getting these ground weapons level 1 or something, because upgrades at this point are a very good idea. Now, getting the Templar Archives here, isn't that a good thing? I understand the wall off, the need to get a wall off, but getting a high-tech building here, not that good idea. Let's see what the Zerg... Ooh, a Nidus network. I almost missed this, and that is a lot of Hydras and Roaches. Now, if this guy can get this Nidus network into a good position, that's it, the game is over. And speaking of which, yeah, it's gonna come right here. I can just predict this. This is another aspect that you need to take in consideration. always have your base scouted. Always. Put a pylon here, put a supply depot here, anything here. Just always have maximum visibility of your base, because this is what is going to happen. Look, if this Nidus network actually finishes, and all this army is caught out of position, and all this, well, I guess the army is already in there. Yeah, 4 stacks of armies, and there they are, just starting to pump out and gonna attack this mineral line. The pros are running away, the army is moving in, but just a constant flux of creatures are gonna come up from there. Now the force fields are semi-good, but finally he uses the Guardian Shield. I don't know if the Protoss can handle this, because that is a lot of Hydras and that is a lot of focus fire, and he's not even warping in units at the moment. There are some Zealots, but I don't think that Zealots are the things he needed right now. By this point, he should have had some Colossi up and finally calls a GG. For this one, what the hell is the Zerg player doing? Now, I'm not a fan of Zerg play, but don't do this. Don't do this. This is just as bad as like when Terrans do a nuke and say, boom. Seriously, we can see that you've won. No need to rub it in. This was a good play by the Zerg, despite the fact that I don't like playing Zerg. This was a really good play, and that is a really nice explosion. What could have been done differently? Well, I suppose, as I said, getting some high-tech things up faster would have been nice. It's interesting that he clearly researched Psionic Storm, and he could have warped in some High Templar, but he just was caught out of position. He was making probes. He did not have his entire base covered, and he was just flooded in. Let's look at the APM for a sec. As you can see, the average APM of our Zerg is 100. The average APM is for our Protoss is 62. That is less. Simply put, a lot of people don't say that, oh, APM is not the defining factor in a match. It isn't, but sometimes it is. Because sometimes acting and reacting is what will win you the game. Well, this was an interesting game to watch. Some interesting play from both players. Not that great of a show, but it was nice to see a dominant player get a nice victory. Wasn't really bad. I am not really a big fan of the way he ended it with the Forest Swarm, but what you gonna do? The Protoss admitted a GG, and so I guess I'll see you guys next time. I should really stop saying that. That is HD's line. Really, I should stop. Bye.